Hello, my name is Emma Haeussler, and I'll be giving a presentation on Karen and her case for schizophrenia. The movie I chose to watch was Through Glass Darkly, a Swedish film produced in 1961, written and directed by Ingmar Bergman. A brief summary of the film: the movie centers around the relationship between a Swedish family in the 1960s over a 24-hour period at their vacation home. Karen, the main character, has been just released from an asylum since her illness seems to have been assuaged for the time being. As the stay at the vacation spot progresses, Karen begins to disintegrate into madness. Karen has schizophrenia. What is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a difficulty associated with a difficulty in distinguishing reality with fantasy. It is associated with disturbed thinking, emotion, perception, behavior, and it usually has its onset in adolescence and early adulthood. What is the diagnosis for Karen in the film? Well, we learned that she's in an asylum for a while undergoing electric shock therapy and has recently been deemed well enough to enjoy this vacation. We also learned that her doctors have deemed her condition uncurable. In other cultures, diagnoses are given in care facilities based on how that specific culture constitutes a psychological condition. So for the question of whether this certain disease, schizophrenia, would be diagnosed in other cultures, it would depend on how that culture would constitute a psychological condition. For instance, American culture emphasizes the symptoms as part of the illness, and the symptoms are characterized as invasive and imposing. While in other cultures, the voices that are sometimes associated with schizophrenia or other positive symptoms are characterized as spiritual and given a more spiritual diagnosis. In the Chennai culture, for example, patients were more comfortable interpreting their voices as relationships and not as a sign of a violated mind. Stigmas associated with schizophrenia in our culture include fear, violence, meaning that people see schizophrenia patients as violent, even though most evidence suggests it only is the case when connected with substance abuse. And there's a negative perception that hinders individuals with schizophrenia from seeking help and treatment, and only 15% of people with schizophrenia in the U.S. are employed, illustrating a stigma showing that schizophrenia patients are seen as not people able to work. Evidence for Karen's case include hallucinations and delusions. Karen believes she hears voices in the walls that order her to do things like read her father's diary and seduce her brother. Towards the end of the film, she experienced a breakdown. She believes she has seen God as a spider with a stony face. She exhibits disorganized thoughts and speech and has trouble expressing her thoughts to completion. Her weakest symptom is reduced speech. She talks fast and never seems reluctant to voice her opinion. My treatment plan would include a combined approach of antipsychotics and prescribed psychotherapy in the form of family or group therapy. Ethical concerns for this treatment would include the issue of what to confirm or deny and half-truths presented to the patient. That would be the most difficult and ethically confusing aspect of the diagnosis. My treatment plan's barriers would be situational. The time period this film takes place in does not have the technology or drugs that would assuage Karen's symptoms, and the choice of treatment at that time is electric shock therapy for Karen. I do think the film gave an accurate portrayal of the disorder. The film showed Karen as not only a schizophrenic, but as a daughter, sister, and wife. The film accurately portrayed schizophrenic symptoms in a way that did not perverse itself with society's stigmas of the condition. Film plays a huge role in how the public, including myself, perceive disorders. By portraying a disorder in a certain way without any real life experiences with the disorder, a person could have a perception of the disease that is not true at all. From the stigmas generated from television and film surrounding schizophrenia, especially, we can see that this notion is true. Thank you for watching and have a great day.